Welcome back to the 5Cast. I'm Mariko Izumi. Last week, Las Vegas, Nevada was host to the world's biggest fishing convention, iCast50. WFN.TV sent pro angler JP DeRose to film the coolest and most innovative products at the event. And we'll count down our favorites right here on the 5Cast. Unfortunately, WFN wouldn't bring me along for the ride. But don't worry, because I've been stealing office supplies.
We're down in Las Vegas, Nevada at iCast 2007, and the greatest thing about this place is the new tackle you get to see. And you got any cool things you want to show the folks?
Oh, you know what? It's like a kid in a candy store here. All the new and exciting stuff, and I've hardly had a chance to go around. I mean, we've been so busy with meetings here, but you see all sorts of cool new stuff. And one of the most exciting things, I stole this out of Berkeley's booth. So if you see them coming, we got to run. But this is that new Gulp Alive. Now everybody knows that fish just love Gulp. I mean, I've caught tons and tons of fish, and I have so much confidence in Gulp baits. I really, a lot of times, if I'm throwing a plastic bait, I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's a Gulp, because it makes such a big difference. Fish hold on for so long, but now they've got Gulp Alive, and the advantage to that is that the bait is actually in the Gulp juice, and that's like chicken wing sauce to a bass or a walleye or whatever you're fishing for. And the cool thing about this is it makes the bait more supple, so the baits will have more action, because in the past Gulp baits have worked really well. One of the downsides about them is they've been a little bit stiffer. Now they're a little bit more supple, and the cool thing is if I'm fishing for 10-20 minutes and I can open up this, dip it back, recharge that Gulp bait, and even your Gulp baits that you have packaged already, you can put it in here and store them and get it around. So no need for live bait anymore. I just carry this everywhere I go, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm going to go to Lake Mead and fish with these here.
Now I'm here with Troy from Strike King Lure Company, and we're here to introduce a new product that's hit the market. These guys have developed something very unique. This is a coffee flavored and scented tube. Now these tubes are geared towards smallmouth anglers. For Great Lakes, they hit the typical colors that we need for our northern waters. I'm going to let Troy explain exactly how he came up with this idea.
2 years ago, I was fishing the Bassmaster Central Opens on Sam Rayburn, and I was eating a pack of crackers on the third day, and the co-angler had run up to get the truck, and I ate me some crackers, and I threw them out, leftovers out into the water, and of course, here comes a little brim. I'm always doing that, kind of looking to see what the forage base is. You seeing the colors of the brim. Well, then I drank my last bit of coffee, and it was, cold and done, so I threw the grounds off to the right-hand side of the actual crackers. Well, then brim just kind of relieved the crackers, and they run over there to them coffees, and then instead of just being like 4 or 5, it turns into like 15 brim, and they're just, going frantic like a bunch of piranhas. So I actually got the coffee, put it in the raw plastic, and made some tubes, and started looking at them like, golly, how natural these things are looking. And what it is the coffee that we're using is pure coffee, 100%. It's not been percolated, it's the actual coffee that you open a bag and put in the plastic, but the oil's bleeding off from that coffee. It tones or tints that plastic to that real natural tone that everyone has been looking for the last 50 years. They thought the coloring was doing it, for the first 50 years, but now with the coffee in it, it's a whole coloring system to itself. So I know it's a long spiel, but there's a lot to it. It's not just plastic and glitters and coloring it anymore. I mean, this is a concept that is genuine, field tested for over the last year, and it's just unique. It really is.
I've run into Scott Smith from Zebco Quantum. They've got a really cool deal for everybody who really enjoys bank and pier fishing, something very innovative and can really put a difference in you catching more fish.
Thank you very much. What I want to show you is the Zebco Hog Seeker fishing reel in combo. This is the first ever fishing reel that will tell you when you get a bite. So in essence, there's an electronic bobber built into this reel, and when I say it tells you, it'll scream out with this beeping sound and be flashing the lights. So for those fishermen that fish, half a dozen rods out there and they're sitting there watching the rod tips all the time, this will afford them the opportunity to take their eye off the ball per se and wait for this to work. And all that happens is when the fish tugs on a line, the reel will tell you that there's something working on your bait. And it doesn't really matter what your environment is. If you're working a hard running river or a smooth pond or lake and that type of thing, it has a sensitivity switch here on the reel, so you can turn it up so it takes a tougher tug on the line to do it. So, you know, if your bait's being banged by the current in the river, it's not going to give you false reads all the time. So there is some adjustability here, which is really important, but it's quite sensitive. And as you can tell, it doesn't take much to tug on that line and let you know that there's some action going on there.
I'm here with Matt from True Tungsten. And now there's a big rage going on right now, and it's all about swim baits. Swim baits from everywhere. Every company's getting into the swim bait market. But True Tungsten's come out with a bait that's truly unique. We're going to let Matt explain what makes him so interesting.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Alrighty. What we've done, we've changed the swim baits up a little bit this year. Most companies, a lot of companies are coming out with swim baits, and you got to have a floater, a slow sinker, a fast sinking bait. So we decided to make it all in one bait. What we've integrated into our baits this year is we have these chambers which allow us to put in these tungsten balls, and these baits take 4 in this size bait and 6 in this one, which would allow us to have a floating bait, like a wake bait, and then we can break it down. You can start putting in these tungsten balls and weighting it down to a slow sink version to a faster sink version.
Well, some very interesting stuff coming out of the True Tungsten camp for sure. And what we have is a tank demonstration for you, just to see how true and awesome these things run in the water.
One of the biggest obstacles with swim baits in the past was getting a versatile swim bait. Some baits work really well at a slow speed, some work really well at a fast speed. It was hard to find a swim bait that worked well at both. We finally got it figured out. We've got a bait that we can allow to do a real slow roll, which will pull fish out of deep water. I call that kind of like my attracting pace. It'll pull fish out of the water. Then we can speed it up, and it gives us that cat and mouse feeling. And we've also got the ability to make a real erratic swim bait where we can make her dance around and really trigger those fish to bite.
Solid. Some cool stuff coming out at iCast for sure. Now I have the honor of being with a couple of gentlemen from E21, Element 21, a new rod company based in Toronto, and these boys had the prestigious award of winning Best of Show in 2 categories. They also won Best Saltwater Rod and Best Freshwater Rod. Now I'm going to ask David a question here, because E21 came out with a very interesting concept in a carrot stick, they're calling it. They're making a rod out of carrots basically, and I'm going to let David explain the specifics of this, which is incredibly innovative.
Thanks. Well, it sounds really weird, and it is actually made from carrots. What we do is it's really quite high tech. There's a lot of science behind it. What we actually do is we take carrots and we deconstruct them almost down to like a molecular level, and then we rebuild up the components that we need with various resins, and we can actually mold it into the shape of a fishing rod.
What we have done is we've had 2 scientists find a way to extract the carrots and extract the cellulose, which is the main component in carrots, and take that and mix it with a water-based epoxy. And what they're able to do with that is mold it with a graphite thin layer high modulus rod. So what they did is they wrap it and they're able to form it to any way you want. So here we have our rod, and it is unbelievably light, and it's so much stronger.
We will have, along with the carrot stick, which for the time being and because of availability, is going to be a special order product, pretty much a custom rod. Then we'll have the Boyd Duckett Gold, Boyd Duckett Signature Series Classic Gold, and also the Boyd Duckett Edge Series.
For those who don't know, Boyd did win the Bassmasters Classic, and you can see right over here the good trophy that goes with it.
We got, you know, the Edge Series, the Boyd Duckett Signature Series, and we got the carrot stick.
Awesome, some very cool things to look forward to in 2007 from a brand new company based in Toronto, Element 21.
Well, that was our countdown of the coolest and most innovative products from iCast50. I'm Mariko Izumi, and if you'd like to help me pay for a ticket to iCast51, I'll be selling these office supplies at the airport next year. Anybody need a tape dispenser?
Clothing provided by Storm Tech, official performance apparel of WFN, the World Fishing Network.
Hey YouTubers, if you want some more Mariko, check out our weekly 5cast on WFN.tv.